Welcome to the School of Moxie podcast. I'm your host, Mary Williams. This season, we're talking about one thing. My business pays for my life. We're not talking about side hustles or someday dreams. We're talking about businesses that actually pay for your life. So your rent and your mortgage, your health insurance premium, the whole kit and caboodle. The thing you are not going to get today in this episode, you are not going to hear my guest read their resume at you for 15 minutes. We're skipping the highlight reel and going straight to the good stuff. We're talking about timelines and trade-offs and the money conversations that not enough people are talking about out loud, but we're about to do it here on this show. If you want to know all the details about who this person is and what they do, that's what the show notes are for. Go check them out. Follow their links. Please support their work because you don't really get to know somebody from just one episode. You get to know them by showing up for their work day after day. That's what they've done for their own communities, and it's what I'm asking you to do for them. All right, let's get into it. Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
I'm so glad that you're here with me for this season because you and I have had so many conversations about how important it is to know if your business can pay for your life. Like, this is not a hobby for either of us. And I know you have shown up for me in a peer advising way where I know that if I ask you a question, I'm going to get a legit answer that is going to really help me figure out what to do because there is no plan B for either of us.
Yes. And the feeling is extremely mutual. I feel like I could just listen to you say things at me forever and I would become a better business human.
I love it. All right. Well, this season, the whole show, all of School of Moxie is about watching TV shows and movies and then talking about our businesses through them because I really feel like they tell us so much about how we like to operate and who we are and our audiences. So what's your comfort show? And why do you keep going back to it?
My comfort show is Supernatural. And the disclaimer I always give everyone is it's really less of a television show and more of an illness. In that once you start it, I've been watching it continuously since about 2007, just rotating through the whole thing over and over again. I think there's a lot of reasons I keep coming back to it. One, because it is a ridiculous show that does incredible things with creativity. And you can see the development of that where it started with one vision for the first 5 seasons and then sort of figured out something else. And then the last 5 seasons, they're just like, I don't know, but like, what if we had a tentacle episode? What could happen? What if we had a Scooby-Doo animated episode? What are you going to do to us now? I love that. But what I also really resonate kind of in a business sense with about the show is it's all about narrative and who controls the narrative and whether you get to make choices within that.
Oh, that fits everything that you do. So it makes sense why you would love Supernatural. Yeah, I agree. But like they went for so long that you kind of run out of the monster of the week at a certain point. Mm-hmm. Like you just have to kind of go to the weird place. And I wonder, is it because they go to the weird place that as you have featured me in your Triple Diamond magazine, coloring all the way to the edges, with that idea in mind, it's like they colored all the way to the edges to figure out where are all the boundaries of this room and telling all these different narratives because it could have just been a safe monster of the week. But then they're like, no, I think we'll just like animate this one episode, see what happens. It was like when Buffy did the musical episode.
Exactly. Yep. They do have a musical episode as well. So, I mean, there's a musical episode, there's a wrestling episode, there's an imaginary friends episode. It's just anything that humans would do. Like it goes there. And I really appreciate that about it.
That is really cool. I have to admit, I was not a huge Supernatural watcher. I think I was in grad school and like I didn't have the time and then I was moving around but I was a big Buffy watcher and Buffy is sort of adjacent universe with the monster of the week and the supernatural element and then the OG, the X-Files.
Oh yeah.
You can't talk about Supernatural and not talk about the X-Files.
I know. They can walk. No, they can run because the X-Files walk.
What's really interesting too, like I think that when we look at the shows that we love, like you're talking about Supernatural being one of your faves, if not the favorite. When we look at our business worlds, you write narrative for other people too, and you help them develop it. Something walked before that thing that you're working on now can run. And you kind of have to know what they are. You don't necessarily have to be an Uber fan. But I think you do have to know that they exist. Otherwise, you just kind of like live in a vacuum, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it makes me think about what Austin Kleon talks about with like your creative family tree, your creative legacy. It's like no ideas are truly new. We mash together other ideas, and that's how creativity happens. And so having some understanding of how has somebody talked about this before, can make such a difference. Something I've talked a lot about is we are essentially in a 60,000 year conversation with ourselves as a species. So we're coming in, after quite some time. And I think it's useful to know what's been said before.
Oh, that's good.
Right? Isn't it cool?
Oh, that's wild. That makes you think differently about a lot of things.
Right?
But also, like, how many loop-de-loops do we do in the course of, say, a business cycle? Like, you and I track patterns. We've been watching narratives repeat themselves 10 years later, just dressed up in slightly different clothing. And like the same thing happens too. And I think when we notice that we have a show that we just really love and we go back to, makes us feel good. You're having a bad day, you turn on Supernatural. You're going through a rough patch, or it's a little bit of quiet period, and you just sort of need to calm the chatter in your brain, and you turn on your favorite things. And, to go dive into something that is brand new requires extra neuron power. And I don't know that we always have all those extra spoons.
I mean, I know I certainly don't. And I think that's what really goes back to your point about familiarity, or at least familiarity with your own conversation. I think that's a way that we can bring people in, is by saying like, hey, we're not starting something completely new. We're just continuing something you've already been thinking about.
Do you think that there is is there any like episode or character or maybe story arc out of Supernatural where you're like, you don't even have to know this show. Maybe somebody should go watch the episode, go hunt it down, or maybe they don't even need to do that. They just need to know it exists, and it will help see them through a really tough time, because the economy is really weird right now when we're recording this. And you and I've lived through weird before, but we've also been saying like, this is extremely pressure filled and crunchy at the moment. But it's happened before. But for a lot of people where this is the first time they're going through it because they started their businesses during COVID, we have a lot of clients like that. Like, what is something that they can take away from Supernatural where it's a fun lesson? The stakes are so low. It's just a TV show. And like, you can go and enjoy it, and then you can get either some comfort or some wisdom, or maybe just a little extra boost. So you're like, I can survive another day. Like, I can do it.
Yeah. Oh gosh. A couple come to mind, but the one I'm going to pull out, it's actually quite late in the show. It's in the last season, and spoilers for anyone who has not watched it in whatever it's been out. But the whole meta story arc is that they're in a big fight with God, and God wants them to live their lives in this one specific way and have this one specific ending to his story. And they're like, no, we do free will. We're going to do something else. So eventually he gets so annoyed by this that he takes away their plot armor, and they become just normal people. So there's an episode where they go through so much physical comedy of like every step they walk up, they trip over it. They walk into a room and they knock a bucket over, and they're both looking at each other like, are you dying? Like, what happened to you? So as they're going through that, I mean, one has a cold, car dies all the time. It's normal stuff. The sort of plot of that episode is there's a monster fight club, and they get captured, and they want to make them fight in the monster fight club. But of course they're normal. And so now they can't do that. So everything they thought they were good at, now they completely suck at. They can't pick a lock. They can't fight a monster. They're physically weak. And in the midst of that, they still make the decision to be like, I'm going to try it,
I love that. I love that so much, because it's like what you have to do every fucking day. You're like, I guess I'm going to try it. Like,
yeah. One of the lines they say is they're trying to pick a lock. They're like, have we always just sucked at this and didn't know it because God was helping us? And I think that's the question we're asking ourselves. Like, have I always just sucked at this and somehow lucked my way through? Which the answer is, of course, no. But like, I think that's where we're all at right now.
Oh, I've had that internal debate so hard recently. Where I'm like, do I really know what I'm doing? I don't know.
Like, evidence would suggest yes, but also,
like, maybe I just didn't trip on my feet as much the last few times. Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Oh, God, that's so good. I love that. Well, you're inspiring me to pick up a new show and like work my way through it and binge it. It'll be a very long binge.
Yeah, to get up to season 15. I should have chosen an earlier episode one.
That show, I mean, the guys who star in it, they still go like travel around to conventions, and the sticking power of the fandom of that show fascinates me.
Absolutely, especially because the fandom and the writers were often in conflict throughout the show. So I think it's such an interesting example of creative tension. because the writers would do something and the fandom would hate it. And they would say, nope, we have decided that this is how the story goes. Even though we're seeing you have your canon over here, we don't care. So like one of the main characters is Castiel. They shorten his name to Cass. In every script, in every text, it's Cass. No one has ever written it that way in the fandom. It's Cas, and they just decided. So they've created their own canon that has very little to do with what actually happened in the show. And they use that as source material to be like, okay, I see that you've made this mistake, but the correct story we're all telling to each other is this one.
That's so interesting. It makes me think how much in our online celebrity entrepreneur world, how many people have done that around a persona. Like we have seen it a lot. Like that is not really what they were originally teaching, but you just took that in a whole other direction. Okay.
And somehow you're mad at me about it.
Yeah. Or you see the entrepreneur who has become internet famous go and adjust themselves to match their audience. I don't know. I don't know if that's always the best thing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Well, I think it depends on how clear they were in themselves to begin with. Because I think we've seen people who didn't really have a strong sense of who they were or what their brand was. And then something resonated with this group of people. And so they decided, oh, well, I guess I'm that. I guess I'm going to be that. As opposed to, I already know who I am. Oh, you want this aspect of me. Cool, I can play that up. I think that's a really different approach.
Right. Oh, my God. This is so fascinating. I mean, we could probably do a whole season on Supernatural, and you could coach me all the way through all 15 seasons.
Don't tempt me with good time, Mary Williams.
Never say never, Rachel Allen.
Exactly. School of Moxie mashup with.
I've been telling everybody, I'm like, the season 3 will be the final season. I feel like School of Moxie, it served its purpose. It got me into my studio. And then there will be like a different show to just have people on. I'm sure you will make an appearance in there too, to keep talking about, business development. But I don't know. Maybe they'll turn into just like a supernatural show. Who knows? So the theme of this season 2, so we're talking about our comfort shows. Every single one of you who's on it is brought your comfort show with you. And we've just talked about yours. But the reason I picked each of you, including you, is because you can legitimately say, my business pays for my life. And this milestone is something that I don't think we celebrate enough in our business world. There are a lot of people who are subsidized by dual income, spousal support. Some people are lucky enough to have trust funds. Yay for you. Good for you. Honestly, good for you. But those of us where we generate everything, we pay for everything, it is a whole other ball game. We make decisions that are very, very different. And that's why I wanted to have us all on, because like the thing that really got me going in all of this was, how much is everyone else paying for health insurance? And I'm gonna start with that question, because especially I think everybody this season, we're all Americans, and I have business friends from many, many moons ago. They're down in Australia and New Zealand. I've got a few Brits. They have national subsidized healthcare, Canada included, and here in the United States, we've got this wackadoodle fucking system. Privatized healthcare, and we pay premiums. And when you have a W-2 9-to-5 job job, your employer sometimes does or does not. Those assists from your employers are starting to dwindle more and more, but you do get some help from them. For people where they're getting health insurance through their spouse, blessed. Like, I'm so jealous, honestly. I'm so jealous. But I'm really curious, like, what does each of my guests pay for health insurance? Because we're all based in the United States. And I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing what you pay for in health insurance.
I would be delighted to share, because it makes me incandescent with rage. So monthly, we have 2 health insurance premiums, one for health insurance, one for dental insurance, because of course you have to buy it separately. Yeah. Who knows? We pay $1,756 for myself and my husband. Neither one of us has any pre-existing health conditions. There's no, we don't ever need a lot of stuff with that. That is what we pay. And for full transparency, I will say that's a platinum package, but the bronze shitty package was $1,200 a month. So I was like, what? I don't know. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, I'd be in the same boat. Why not? You might as well. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm just a single free bird over here, and I pay $7.31 and change a month for a silver packet.
Ah,
And I pay about 50 a month for dental.
hmm.
Vision is not included in any of these.
Yeah,
So that's
same.
all out of pocket. So thank
Hmm.
you, Costco. Love you,
Yep.
Costco. But yeah, I think like it's important as other people who find us who are like us, who live in this world where your business pays for your whole life, understand that you're not alone. We feel your
Yeah.
pain. And
Like
you can do
so
this.
hard.
It's so hard, and you can do this.
Yeah.
But also for the people who are very hesitant on making business decisions, they are absolutely subsidized. The safety net is very real for them. The feeling of not having a safety net is also very real, and I really recognize that. But to hear these kinds of numbers from us on the other side of the fence, I think can put into perspective like maybe I can be a little bolder. Like you
Yeah.
have the flexibility and the frankly like the backed audacity to go do something a little bit more bold. And like
Yeah.
why wouldn't you, you know? And I just really want to see if our conversations help encourage people like that to maybe not get so frozen because it turns out that like actually you got a sweet thing going, and I would take advantage of
Yeah.
that if I were in that position. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing I will say is for many years as an entrepreneur, I didn't have health insurance because I couldn't afford it, or I was moving around so many different countries. It didn't really make sense. And, again, there's so much luck, and I've got a lot of physical privilege in that I don't have a lot of health needs, but paying for stuff out of pocket, it was unpleasant, but generally affordable, you know?
yes, it can be done. I do notice that as I age and my body ages,
Yes.
and we are recording in the month when I am still 46, be 47 when this podcast drops. And I do notice that there are some things that need
Yeah.
a little more attention now. And that does start to get a little scary. It's like,
Yeah.
I need to go take care of certain health issues. Thank you so much for sharing your health insurance premium.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
I suddenly am like, maybe I won't complain so hard about it. I'm really curious though, like at what point did you realize that your business was paying for your life? Like, did you know it when it was happening, or was it like you turned around one day, or maybe I asked you and you're like, oh, huh, look at that. I'm doing it.
I had to think back because I didn't market at the time, but it would have been probably 3.5, 4 years in. At the time, I was living with my ex, and he was able to subsidize like our rent on months when I couldn't make that or something like that. But I ended up landing my first client outside of a content mill for a 5-figure contract, and that started this whole process of me being like, oh, actually, I can pay for that. Look at that.
I'm wondering how many people are closer to this milestone than they realize, because
Hmm.
when you're in it, when you're in your bad supernatural day and you're like, I feel like all I do is trip over my own feet. And then, like when you actually
Yeah.
look at the numbers, you're like, oh wait, actually, I'm
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
And that gap, I think, is often so much smaller than people think, especially when you're in a situation where you can set your own pricing. There's not limits on how much you can do or how much you can charge. You can do this. You can, even if the way that you're structured right now isn't really feasible, you can always change that because guess what? You're the boss for good and for bad.
Do you feel like because you're very aware that your business pays for your life, do you feel like you work more than some of your peers, or no? Like, do you think that maybe
Hmm.
that's just something we carry in our heads, or is it a reality?
I think it is sometimes, I think it fluctuates. I guess that's the answer. Because particularly for the first 10 years of my business, I worked all the time. That is all I did with my life. Like I would get up, I would work about 12 hours, I would sleep, I would get up and I would work. It was phenomenally unhealthy. Do not recommend. But as part of that, when I was able to like pull myself out of the, oh, if I just work harder, then I'll do better mindset, I actually work very fast, just kind of naturally how my brain works. And so I think I probably work fewer hours than people would think, but they are very intense and very focused hours. Like I do nothing else but work when I am working. It is very like head down, get it out, get it done.
Yeah. I think back to my corporate days and being in an office and how distracting those offices were. I mean, I think I knew from a very early point that Mary does not do well when people are constantly pattern interrupting everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was able to get some work from home privileges, which I did pretty early on in my career, I was like, wow, I get so much done when I'm allowed to be a potato and just bang out the to-do list of things, and the deliverables would just fly out the door on a Friday. People were like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, well, I don't have somebody knocking on my door every other minute asking for honestly nothing. And as entrepreneurs, I think it's one of like the great privileges that we have for working is that we get to control our time, which of course becomes a double-edged sword because then you're like, now I can do anything.
Exactly.
Do you ever find yourself like super distracted by something, or like how do you do time off? Like, what do you do?
I'm terrible at time off. I'm great at time on. I don't normally get distracted, but time off I find very uncomfortable. So I'm having to learn how to find other things to do that I enjoy just as much as working. I think that's actually the harder side of the equation for me to manage, especially taking downtime or doing something that's non-productive, because my natural thing is like, oh, I've got some time off. Let me organize my fridge. Oh, I've got some time off. Let me do whatever. And I've gotten better at it over the years. I've gotten some sort of transition patterns in place that help my brain realize, oh, it's okay to just read a book today or whatever. But I think for overachieving eldest daughter women in particular, especially when we're doing something we love, it's really easy because you get such a rush from like getting those deliverables out the door. It's really easy to lose yourself in it.
I don't know about you, but I find that my brain is always on. Like, the business idea part just never turns off. And I don't know that I want it to either. I like it on. And it's where all my genius comes from, is like, I see the patterns out in the world, and then I'm like taking notes on my phone, and I've like suddenly turned into the meme online where they're like, this is what it looks like to be a business owner. And the guy's just like on his phone in like every location. And I'm like, yes, the thumbs are going. But yeah, I also share the same thing. I don't know that I'm great at taking time off. I wonder what you think, like when you see people who, for lack of a better description, basically brag about like, I'm taking the whole month off, or I don't work on Fridays. And as somebody where your business pays for your life, how do you feel about that? Like, I have some very strong opinions about it, but what do you think when you see those things?
I am instantly suspicious because I'm like, oh, so your husband got a bonus? Like that's what I take away from that. But as someone who has taken off months at a time, and like at times in my business, I've not worked on Fridays and stuff like that. When I'm doing that, I'm doing something else. So like I'm writing a memoir, and I would take like, weeks off at a time to do that. Or for instance, I used to take every December off. I still do it more times than not, right? But by the time I get there, I'm so exhausted. Like all I'm doing is like laying face down for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I am instantly suspicious. And then I'm like, okay, but like, what are you actually doing with that? How is that possible? Is it even worth it to you to do all the work that allows you to take all that time off?
Because of the reality, I don't know anybody in any business or job function in a corporate setting where in order to go on vacation, there is a ramp up to get out the door to go on vacation. And there is a very real reality of coming back to a backlog of sort.
Right. A giant pile of problems.
Yeah. And then you're doing double work on the back end too.
Yep.
I just don't know how a lot of people do it. I know that I am searching for the answer, and I'm wondering if I'll find some answers in the course of interviewing all of you this season. But I think those of us where it's not a hustle and a grind, like wrong word for it.
Yeah.
But when the business pays for your life and you are entirely responsible for that, you work in a way where you feel the weight of it.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I'm wondering is, do you feel like you have had to give anything up in order to build a business that fully supports your life? Do you feel like there are things that you don't get to have?
I almost never take a national holiday off because I forget they exist. And the only way that I ever learned that they were happening is because people aren't responding to my emails. And then I'm like, why is everyone so quiet today? Oh.
Like today, we're recording on Juneteenth.
Oh.
And today is a national holiday. I was going to run to the post office to do some really important errands. And then I went to the post office, and of course the whole thing is closed because it's Juneteenth. And I was like, wow, the traffic is so good today.
Yeah. Like a perfect example. I love that we are living this. It had not occurred to me. So like, I don't ever do that. I mean, I think I think something else we give up is a kind of stability. I think we trade it for a different kind of stability in that I know that whatever comes down to it, it's on me. And that's good and also very heavy. But the trade-off is that stability of I can't really have a lot of bad weeks in a row the way that I might be able to do if I was able to like kind of phone it in a little bit in a salaried job. Yeah. I have to show up ready to perform every day.
I think like the trade-offs are freedom and flexibility. Mm-hmm. Cliche and cheesy as that sounds, but it is true. It is true. Yeah. I can tell you that for me, it's being able to be flexible enough to help with elder care for my folks and not have to ask for permission to be out of the office on a day or to worry about, oh, I have to save my PTO because I might need it for, you know, being out for caregiving. Like
I couldn't imagine.
No, now I just take my phone and I type on my thumbs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I had this question on our list of things because I wanted to make sure that everybody who's on this season more or less stays within the same boxes of discussion so that we can compare them as we listen to them over the season, right?
Oh, it's going to be an analysis. I love it.
Because like if, you know me, I mean, I'll wander through a discussion to the end of time. But if everybody's discussion is so incredibly different, it gets really hard to see the patterns and the similarities and the differences. Yeah. And one of the big questions that's anchoring the season is like knowing and figuring out the last time that you genuinely felt the weight of knowing that like everything was on you. You know, is there a moment of that for you? Or it could be a time period. Like for me, it's sort of more like a time period. Like I look back in hindsight and I'm like, it was in quotes a moment, but it was really a period of time. But, you know, have you gone through that where you realized like the full weight of it? Like, like this is all on me.
I feel like I've had a bunch of them. I'm actually, I think, in one right now. My husband's currently unemployed. And while I'm fortunate enough to be able to support both of us, it's heavy, you know? And I'm in a place where I'm coming off of 5 pretty stressful years. I've got a lot of other things just happening in my life that are pretty heavy lifts. I remember thinking back at the end of last year, I would love one of those like Victorian seaside cures, you know, where they're like, you're too stressed. Go to the beach for 6 weeks and look at the waves. And I was like, do they still do that? Are they home? I was like, man, I feel like physically, emotionally, like I've been in a car crash. And I feel like I want somebody to come along and take care of me.
Yeah.
And then I was so mad about it for a couple of weeks. It's like, no one's taking care of me. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, it's me. I have to take care of me and also run this stupid business because if I don't, we don't pay our rent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All those frustrating moments where you're like, I'm so tired today. I have noticed though over time as I have weirdly, as I have accepted the weight, things that used to really bug me in my corporate career were like a really nice day outside and I couldn't be outside. I had to be stuck in that office building.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, I have just knowing that I have the freedom to leave the building is enough. And I'm suddenly no longer so mad that it's the first nice day of the year. And sometimes you can push things around and go outside and take a little time. But sometimes you're in the middle of delivering something and that person has just paid you $50,000. You know what? You're going to be at your desk making sure that you get paid the $50,000. And there will be another nice day tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah.
I do notice that the awareness of freedom is so important.
Well, I think what I'm hearing in that, what my experience with it was this reminder that I have chosen this. It's not being done to me. It's not put upon me. I continue to choose to do this every day. I could go get a job if I wanted to. I could go leave the country if I wanted to. I could live any life. And I am continuing to actively choose this one. And I think that makes so much of the suffering element drop away because it's oh, okay, well, other things would suck in different ways. I'm choosing this one.
Do you think the supernatural boys feel this?
I think they do because they go through various phases. They're very emotional. They go through various phases where they're like, why must it be all on us? Oh. And then they eventually, both in their different ways, make peace with this legacy that we were given. I mean, the whole tagline is the family business, saving people, hunting things. That's what it is. And so it was like put upon them by everyone from their dad all the way up to God himself. And then eventually they're like, I like this. I'm good at it. I help people. They find their own reasons to keep doing it. And then it's not something that they're forced to do. It's something that means something to them.
I think there's something in there for entrepreneurs going through this transitional growth phase into having the weight on them. Like, I am really wondering how many people hold themselves back in entrepreneurship because they realize that when they accept the legacy, the responsibility of just knowing that even if you don't have to be responsible for your business pays for your life, but knowing that you have that capability, that with that comes a certain amount of gravity and responsibility, and there's just sort of no more excuses. And it might change other things in your life when you know you have the freedom to make decisions, because financial freedom is freedom. If you are financially independent, you have a type of freedom and mobility that a lot of other people don't have. And it starts to make you question things and
everything.
And I wonder how many people hold themselves back because that is a little intimidating.
I mean, I think it's existentially terrifying, right? Because it requires you to change your worldview from that of existing within a system to being the builder of your own sandbox. And I think most people don't want that responsibility, which, you know, whatever, that's it. That's a choice you can make. I also think, like, not to get all Marianne Williamsy about it, but I also think in doing that, if you realize like, oh, wait, I could do this, then I could do anything. You and I talk all the time about how there is basically nothing we could not figure out. We have the total freedom to do that. And I think that's absolutely crushing to some people.
Yes, it is. The responsibility of that is not just a little intimidating.
Because then it's like, okay, you get to the end of your life. I think that makes your own internal report card that much heavier, right? Like, that guides so much of my decision making of, I'm going to look back in however many years. Like, am I going to be proud of what I did today? I don't know.
I do. I have like a similar thing too. On really hard days, I'm like, I remember myself at the end of my life, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I really wish I'd gone for the safe route. I'm going to be like, man, I really went for it. And that day was really shitty, but I went for it.
Exactly.
Do you think anything is easier now that your business pays for your life?
I mean, for sure. I think it's, I like having the total control over how my money is spent. I find that very freeing and empowering. I think that in a way, the clarity of knowing that it's all down to me is extremely helpful. So I have a friend who works in defense, and she has this saying that the threat of nuclear warfare really focuses the mind, which is totally true, right? Because when that is the thing you are dealing with, you do not have any space for any horse shit. You're going to deal with that thing. And so I think in a similar way, right? So many of my decisions have been made because of this one decision I've made to be completely responsible for my own finances and my own life. And it's like, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. I've already decided. I know what my purpose is and I'm doing it.
The clarity in that is nice. Do you have a business expense that nobody warned you about?
Oh, God. There's so many of them. There's so many weird things.
So many weird things.
I feel like it's always like a weird piece of software that I need to buy where it's like, I didn't know I would need that, but okay. Other things where it's like odd fees. So my business is incorporated in Delaware. And so it's like, oh, right, I got to pay that $300 a year. Okay. You know, just like odd things like that. Or my mail forwarding service, which no one ever actually sends me mail to my registered business address, but I still got to pay them $100 a year to like exist in Delaware.
There are so many things, and so many things that no book is ever going to tell you about.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. And it's a lot of stuff of like, do I need it? Does it actually make my life better? Is it just a thing that I'm using because like I thought I would be using it? You know?
Yeah. Oh, you could be asking that question forever and ever, Rachel. I don't think it will ever end. All right, here's a toughie one. If your business suddenly lost 50% of its revenue tomorrow, and there are some people out there where this has definitely been happening in this day and age, what would you do first?
Well, having been through this several times, I can actually tell you my exact process. First, I get really panicked and terrified, and I'm pretty sure that actually I have indeed sucked all along, and I've never been able to pick the lock, and it's all been a big lie the whole time. And since, again, this is like my third or fourth time I've done this now, now I know enough to put myself in front of a group of people who know me really well and then ask them, hey, actually, do I suck? And if not, why? Like, well, tell me, like just sort of help me get grounded again. And then once I've got that perspective, the next move I usually make is I talk to people. So like my business has always been referral based. My most valuable asset, for lack of a better term, is the people that I know. I have a really strong network of really brilliant people. So I go and I have conversations with them and I'm like, yo, I'm super mind fucked about this. What do you think? And then somehow in those conversations, one, I remember that actually I do know a few things sometimes, and I've had a couple things not be like the worst. But I get excited about new ideas with them because it helps me break through that framing of like, this is how it is. This is the sandbox that I have to play with. And then I can be like, oh, wait, actually, I could just go over there.
Yeah. I mean, I think you do this beautifully because you and Petchy, our wonderful friend Petchy, you guys host your Triple Diamond meetups, and it's a very curated, I would say, quiet group. I love it that way. It's not big and flashy. It's productive. And and really good people in your network, and they know good people in their networks. And those people, trickle in and find each other. And it's in those quiet spaces where a lot of this just gets busted out. But like, I keep thinking back to your comfort show because you love Supernatural. And the Winchester brothers do not do it alone. They have a Scooby gang. No. Everybody needs a Scooby gang. And
yes.
And I really think that there are some people who truly don't have a Scooby gang. And that really should be like the first thing that you need to do. It's almost like right on par with having revenue generating activities. And you need people that you can soundboard with, that you can rely on. And then I think there's some people who think they have a Scooby gang, but it's really just like a frenemy gang. And I don't know that it's the Mean Girls gang. And especially in like the women business space, I feel like those things are starting to break apart right now because you keep hearing about it. We do. But we have watched that build and grow over the last 10 years. And and there's just some people where, their business really doesn't pay for their life, and they will make judgment calls on things that just frankly aren't good or healthy for you.
Yeah, no, that's exactly true. They do have, they've got their group of people. Even in the episode that I pulled out for our example, they don't actually get themselves out of that. One of their friends comes along and is like, oh, I can help you. And they save them. So sometimes, even if you're amazing at stuff, you need somebody to come along and be what I call the business grown-up. I know I ask you that, I ask Petchy that, I ask Tanya Kuba that all the time. I'm like, I just need you to be the business grown-up today and tell me yes or no on this.
Just cut the crust off my sandwich today.
Yes, exactly.
And just give me a juice box. That's all I need today.
Exactly. I just need you to help me make this one decision, because even though I know the answer, I am so absolutely tapped. I can't do it without somebody else.
Well, sometimes there's no best answer. You just need to do something in one way or another. Pick a lane. Just do it.
Right.
And having people you trust who are definitely in your corner with you, who understand what you're doing, I think that they can help you get over the fear of like, okay, I'm going to do that. Because you can be like, well, what if the other one's better? And sometimes it's like, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Like all roads lead to the same place. Pick one.
Yeah, absolutely. And just having someone, like you say, to like give you the perspective, to help you break out of the loop. And just to be like, I don't care what you do, but you better do it in the next hour and text me about it.
That just triggered something new. Like, okay, I'll report back. I had a visceral feeling in my body where the words came out of your mouth and I was just like, okay, I don't want to, but I'll do it. I feel like the last 6 months, I feel like they have been so much like this. Man, it's like you really find your personal resiliency.
You find that, and you find the people who you can trust to actually be with you through it.
What do you think are the markers of trust?
So I think, like, I can tell you what I look for if I'm like sort of looking at somebody and seeing if I can be vulnerable with them. I think it is what they vocally stand for, like what I see them actually going after, right?
Yeah.
So if I see somebody whose like entire business is just like, oh, blah, blah, empower your blah, blah, make a lot of money, whatever. Like, I don't care. But I have to see something in them that they care about something more.
Yeah.
And then I'm so like past being able to hide any of my shit now that I just kind of go into conversations and I'm like, so here's this really fucked up thing that happened to me. What do you think? And if they respond badly, I'm like, noted. Okay, understand. Thank you. I will go talk to people who won't be weird about this.
So many instances for, me. My fuck bomb mouth flies. And I'm just like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck your little dog too. And then people are like, whoa. And I'm like, okay, wrong room. I'll move on.
Right? Like I've been teaching all these workshops locally, and the hardest thing about it has been to not swear in the workshops because like it's real Christian environment down here. I don't know how people feel about it. It is very difficult.
Do you have a bill that you're weirdly proud to pay?
So, gosh, I'm sure I probably do. You know what? I'm proud to pay for my website because I feel like that's my home on the internet. And so this isn't a bill, but I think it kind of ties in. I do like cleaning. I clean my house every week. I feel oddly proud every time I scrub my toilet because to me, there's something about that of like, this is mine. I am caring for it. And if I can care for the littlest, like lowest, most gross, below me, air quotes, job, like I am not too good for this. And I can do all of this other stuff. I can do all this impressive shit and I can be in these rooms and I can own this. But there's something about being able to have a commitment to craftsmanship, even in the little stuff where it literally does not matter, that I feel very proud about.
Oh, Rachel Allen, you speak in my love languages right now. I have a weekly cleaning ritual. I clean it every Saturday in my house and, never not done that. In the periods of time where that has been disrupted, it really shows in everything else that goes on in life. And
yeah, my life is destroyed if I don't take my little 90-minute clean on a Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you do that too. Okay, I got a juicy question for you. What are business programs, coaches, and communities not talking about enough that keeps people stuck in dependency patterns?
So much. Okay, first thing that came to mind was what an element of luck there is in business. No one ever admits that. It's always, I worked harder than everyone else, I blah, blah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. There is always an element of luck. There are things that you cannot predict because this is a complex organism. So you can influence it, but you cannot control it. And so I think so many people just fail to acknowledge like, yeah, man, I had some really lucky breaks. I often refer to myself as stupid lucky because things like should not have worked out this well for me. And it's wonderful that they did. So I think that people also fail to talk about, I think, the true realities of what goes into the obnoxious admin side of running a business. So paying your taxes, filing for the admin shit you have to file for, all that kind of stuff. And so I think when people get into that and they don't have someone leading them through who's like, yeah, you got to click the little like stupid button to file the thing. It's annoying, whatever. They get overwhelmed because it's very new and it feels like the stakes are very high. And so they either ignore it, which keeps them stunted as a business owner, or they pay for a coach to do it, which is like, no, I can just show you how to tick the box and do it. It's a box. You can tick it. I promise.
Oh, this is so good. Yeah, I think a lot of people are maybe not aware of how much doesn't get a dopamine hit.
A lot of it is grindingly boring.
I can feel it like in the marrow of my bones that just hit someone right in the spot, the good spot where you're like, ugh.
So not to cross-contaminate our show, but when in those moments, what I always think of is it's like one of the very first episodes of How I Met Your Mother, and the guy who becomes a lawyer is studying for law school, and he's like, law school better be awesome because this is really boring. That's exactly what I do when I'm doing boring stuff as well. I'm like doing my spreadsheet. I don't like it, but just like bringing that ridiculous into it, I think helps as well.
Yeah, I have discovered, like, I try to look at the pathway, and maybe it's my weird workflow brain, but I try to look at the pathway of the boring thing and where it goes to, because where it goes to is always really sexy. And then I'm like, I am going to the sexy. I am going to it. And then it gets me through it. And then there comes, I do think that there comes this point in your business maturity. We've been talking a lot about business maturity off of this episode in this particular week that we are recording. And I do think that there comes a point where you just have seen enough happen, enough things where when you're doing these non-dopamine driving activities that you buckle down and you do them and you feel oddly good about it because you're like, my business needs it and this is an integral part of that. And this is what allows my business to pay for my life. And so therefore, why would I not do it? Kind of like scrubbing your toilet every Sunday. You're like,
exactly.
Yes, you're going to take the trash out. duh.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's like, this is my most favorite activity. I'm going to take out the trash. But you're like, I'm going to take it out because the consequences of not doing it are frankly really gross. So I'm going to do it. And nobody wants to sit on a dirty toilet. Like, it's gross.
Yeah, right? Like, no. So I'll drop a little wisdom from another friend of ours, Jenny Elliott, who she has this saying that you should have other sources of dopamine in your life other than having to constantly rescue your own business.
Right. What? Oh my God. Right. Oh God, that's so good.
Oh, right. And I think people don't talk about that because, man, there is nothing more exciting than my business needs me. This is important. I have to go and I have to do it. And it's easy to get yourself in these like awful self-sabotagey bullshit situations because you are so stuck chasing that hit. You don't know how to do otherwise.
This is why I'm always asking privately in my client groups, like, are you being interesting today?
Yeah.
Do you have a life? Are you reading some fiction? You watching some TV shows? Do you have a comfort show? I can't tell you how many people cannot answer the question, what's your comfort show? Yeah.
But
I know. Those of us weirdos are like, how could you not?
Yeah, exactly.
But there are some people who don't. And
wild.
Yeah. And so I'm always paying attention to these little cues. You know, I'm not like out there coaching people and telling them my opinion when we're in networking groups or meetings or whatever. But when I hear people who essentially admit that they sort of check out of the collective, tells me a lot about where they're at. And I think what happens is you get to these really difficult moments in business where you want to have your business pay for your life. You want to reach that milestone. And you end up having such a harder road because now it's harder to connect with that peer group who's going to help you on that hard day where you're like, I just need someone to cut off the crust on my sandwich and hand me a juice box. And Rachel's just going to tell me, Mary, it's the same thing. Just go this way. Just do it. You're faster at it. Do that one. And like get out of your own way. And then you don't end up with that support system. And you just sort of end up stockpiling layer by layer these difficulties when it doesn't have to be that way. And then it turns out that your business doesn't pay for your life and it's also harder. Yeah. And you're wondering, why does it look like Rachel Allen just sails through to the sunset? And it's like, because she's been doing this for fucking forever and it's amazing.
And I have a really good group of friends that is so gracious in carrying me.
Yeah, same. You are definitely included in that. So
yeah, same.
Okay, I have a final sentence for everybody this season. The question is, it's Mad Libs. You're going to fill in a blank.
Love it. I love it.
The question is, my business pays for my life, and that means fill in the blank.
My business pays for my life, and that means that it is the adventure that I'm going to be doing until I die.
That's serious commitment. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Because how many times do you think people say like, oh yeah, I want my business to pay for my life, or I want to hit certain milestones, or I want something, but they don't commit all the way.
Yeah, the conditional commitment, I think, is what kills you. So one of my sayings, everyone always laughs, but it's so true. One of my sayings is you can't be half a gangster. It's accurate, right? Because what always fucks them up in the movies is when they're trying to go legit and they're like half a gangster, but they're half legit. It always fucks you up. Yeah. So with this kind of stuff, with this conditional commitment, it will destroy you in really dumb ways. So commit to the big thing, even if it looks big and giant and stupid and you have no idea how you're going to do it because it's too big for you. I think the only things worth doing are those that are too big for you because you grow into them once you commit to them. I was kind of excited when I heard myself say it. I didn't know it was going to happen.
Love it when things pop out of our mouths. Also, it's a great setup for an entire episode on John Wick.
Yes, exactly. And Peaky Blinders, my second comfort show.
Oh, Peaky, so good. Yeah, all these different shows, they seem so insignificant. They're actually really, really hella significant. Yeah. And hopefully somebody's listening to this and the things that come out of your mouth, you can't be half a gangster to be on like hats and t-shirts and mugs and stickers. Like everything, post everything, because it's so true. And, if somebody else has listened to this episode and you resonated, maybe they'll pick up Supernatural and start to realize like, oh, maybe there's something in here for me too. And it can be fun.
Exactly. I mean, it is a powerfully ridiculous show.
Yeah.
So I don't think it needs to, like, it's also very sad a lot of the times, those two things together. Anyway, it doesn't have to be serious though.
Well, thank you for bringing your supernatural gifts with us.
Thank you for asking me about this. No one has ever done it before, and it's been so fun to talk about.
Well, we'll have all the ways people can connect with you in the show notes. I encourage them to do that. And with that, I'm sure we will see you around the Sasquatch Media Grounds universe in the not too distant future.
Wonderful.
That's it for this episode of the School of Moxie podcast. This season was produced and edited by me, Mary Williams, through Sensible Woo and now Sasquatch Media Grounds out of Vancouver, Washington. If you're a business owner and you want help building your own media engine, maybe it's your podcast, your YouTube channel, your content, the whole visibility machine, come and subscribe to my emails at sensiblewoo.com/subscribe. I'll show you how it's done and I'll hook you up with the good stuff. See you on the inside.